Okay. I've done this a few times, and I think I'm seeing for the first time something that I was supposed to do. My name is Penny, and I use the pronouns she and her. We ask that you silence all electronic devices. We want to take a few moments to welcome any guests with us today. We're very glad you're here. I have talked with Bobby. Are there more? You can just raise your hand. You don't need to do anything else. We're very glad you're here. And we're also glad for those that have been here for a long time that you keep coming back. As you may know, from your emails, yesterday's outdoor cleanup was postponed due to the weather. So we're rescheduling for next Saturday. And if Mother Nature doesn't cooperate with us or pulls an April Fool's joke on April 1st, then we will try again for April 8th. If you know that you will be coming, we ask you to let Laura Keith King know, and you'll find her number in a lot of places, or just tell her. So, the chalice lighting. First off, I want to say, too, that this is a very special service today. I'm just going to give a brief introduction. We have been working for 3 years, I believe, with JUST Pensacola, and we have a very special date coming up, and this is in preparation to get us all charged to be excited about the Nehemiah action and make sure that everybody gets invited and that we invite as many people as possible, because this is where we talk to our political leaders or that make a difference in the community, and we want them to know that we are a strong force to listen to. So, the chalice lighting. In honor of your light, thank you. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. We will have some opening words from Paula Montgomery.
Our opening words, our opening words today are by Mark Morrison Reed. The central task of a religious community is to unveil the bonds that bind each of us to all. There is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amid the particulars of our own lives and the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice. It is the church that assures us that we're not struggling for justice alone, but as members of a larger community. The religious community is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength is too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision widens and our strength is renewed.
Thank you, Paula. And we will invite you all to, let me see if I got this right. We're going to invite you to sing with us. Today we are singing hymn number 121, We'll Build a Land. This church is fully self-supported. We've just finished our pledge drive, and I don't know how that went, but we are always appreciative of what you can give in time, talent, and treasure. So give as you are able, and if you're watching from YouTube, we have a way to give from your phone. Thank you. So here is where we start the meat of our service today. Honor Bell III will be speaking on what does justice mean for our congregation. And that is part of our mission statement, that we strive for justice.
Some of the principles we see every Sunday morning are of particular importance for this service. 1, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. 2, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. 6, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. And 8, a principle many UU congregations have signed on in recent years and will be tied in come fruition of the Article 2 Commission, journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. I have a couple short stories I didn't see an exact connection to just current issues we're working on, but Kaeli reminded me that they hold value. Back in 2013, many of you knew me then, I finally had a seizure long enough to hit a wall at 70 miles per hour. I was tossed into court for reckless driving and property damage. I had gone through 3 or 4 public defenders and only met them just outside the courtroom before my hearings without even a conversation. By the 3rd time I appeared before the judge, which was when they would either sentence me or put me before a jury, the prosecutors asked to approach the bench to drop the charges. This months-long issue which wrecked my anxiety only went on because the prosecutors never looked at my file to see I had a doctor's note being diagnosed with seizures I had not known were happening. In my file, I had record of going to the ER a month prior to the accident, complaining of episodes of deja vu that scrambled my mind and interrupted my motor skills, only to be discharged with a bottle of ibuprofen and told to drive myself home. I have a story about my brother as well. He happened to get a traffic ticket in another state. He promptly paid it and thought that was the end of it. Many months later, he was pulled over in Florida and found to be driving with a suspended license. He had no clue why. The officer told him it was for an unpaid ticket, the very ticket he got in another state. Well, he had to go to court to prove that he had actually paid the ticket. Apparently, other states talk to each other when someone gets a ticket, but not when it's paid off. The judge chastised him and told him he deserves to go to jail, despite the prosecutor wanting to drop the charges. That's beside the point, and I'll come back to it in a bit. One more story that stuck with me was a story I heard in JUST. There once was a young woman who went to school for nursing. It wasn't until she went for her license that she found out she could not work in her intended career field, since she had an instance of a pot charge on her record. Something as harmless as possession of pot at the age of 16 turned her future inside out before she knew it. What I'm getting at is the current social justice departments lack the budget and frankly the desire to follow up on their cases. The amount of caseload, despite how much we put into police department budgets, is just too much to streamline and keep tabs on. If we were able to keep most out of the system for minor infractions, we could spend more of our time and budgets on actual issues of safety and concern. Maybe if the prosecutors had a lighter load, they could have looked at my file and saved probable thousands of dollars spent taking me to court. If there were less in the system, maybe my brother never would have been ticketed for driving with a suspended license. If this young woman was given just a citation instead of a charge, she could have heeded the warning and stayed out of the system. It is minor infractions like these that get dragged out or inflated to impossible circumstances to overcome, wrecking people socially, economically, and professionally. Housing. When I left San Diego, I thought I'd be able to afford my own place here if I wanted. San Diego is known for being a pretty expensive place to live. I fortunately had really lucked out a year before COVID. I had scored a 2-bedroom apartment in one of San Diego's hottest neighborhoods, North Park, for just $1,400 a month. The average was about $2,200 to $2,700 a month. I could walk to my grocery store, ride the buses just outside of downtown, and be sufficient without a car. I didn't really look at the housing market before moving back because my parents offered me my old bedroom rent-free. It wasn't until I casually saw an advertisement on Facebook for a studio garage here in Pensacola for over $1,000 a month that I get the sticker shock. Afterward, I knew I had to get to work with JUST and PSL on their affordable housing campaigns. I was in a hot neighborhood just a year prior in San Diego for just $400 more than this garage. And this garage was in a neighborhood that required the expense of a car. Just this January, the Pensacola Association of Realtors found that there were only 226 rental units available. The median price for an apartment was $1,500 a month and $1,700 for a single-family unit. Each unit stayed on the market for under 45 days. The average salary here is barely over $30,000 a year. The way the housing crisis works out here is that $20 an hour still wouldn't be enough to make 3 times the rent here, and one must provide evidence of making 3 times the rent before most approval on applications. Looking at a new Pew Research Center analysis, in 2022, women still earn an average of 82 cents on the dollar of what men earn. One might say it's not just that bad anymore, but if one looked back 20 years ago, women on average made 80 cents on the dollar, only 2 cents more in 20 years. Things look worse when considering race. Many of us understand the justice system unfairly targets minorities, black and brown men in particular, leaving many single black and brown parents, mothers primarily. According to the American Association of University Women, black women were paid on average 58% of what non-Hispanic white men were paid as recently as 2020. How can a single black mother get ahead, let alone catch up to the rest of the economy, making only 50% of others competing for those same apartments? My brother, who is the primary caregiver to his 2 children, has a good paying job just outside Gulf Breeze and runs a lawn service on the weekends and still cannot find an affordable place to live in Pensacola. As many of you know, we are in the middle of multiple crises here in Florida, but we cannot forget the basic sense of safety and a place to live. That is where JUST can help. On JUST affordable housing and criminal justice campaigns, we can start to right these wrongs before they hurt another, and we'd like to remind you of the principles we're calling forth today. 1, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. 2, justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. 6, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. And I'd like to remind you of 8, journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourselves and our institutions. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kaeli Williams. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the director of JUST Pensacola. Thank you so much, Honor, for sharing that. I am going to briefly talk about an update on our issue cuts, but I'm not going to go into too much depth because over the next month or so, you'll be hearing these updates many times, and I want to make sure it stays exciting. But as Honor mentioned, we are in the midst of multiple crises in our community, but the one that keeps me up at night the most is definitely the affordable housing crisis. So right now, JUST Pensacola is working on a solution. We have a proposal. It's called an Affordable Rental Housing Trust Fund. We did a lot of research and we found in just the city of Pensacola, there's a deficit of at least 1,000 units for families earning at or below 80% area median income. So that means that people like our nurses, our teachers, our pharmacy technicians cannot find a place to live, even if they're working full time, which is unacceptable. Meanwhile, luxury developments and luxury condos are being built every day with no end in sight. So what are we going to do about it? Well, we are asking the city to fund an affordable rental housing trust fund. In your packets that you have here today, there's a lot more details about it. Some people are just like, does the solution work? Yes, okay, let's just do it. And other people want to know the details of the proposal. So if you do want to know more, there's information on your packets on page 2, 3, and 4. If you don't mind, take a look at page 4 for just a second. This is as of October 2022, the average rent for a one-bedroom apartment by neighborhood. I know that I personally could not pay these rents. In fact, I'm living with 3 people in my house, and a 4th person is moving in soon, just to make things affordable, among other reasons. But this is what, when people go and they search on Zillow or the rent.com, these are the prices that are coming up from a one-bedroom apartment, and our community members and our neighbors deserve more. So, with that being said, I'll also talk briefly about our criminal justice work too. As many of you know, for many years we worked on, for 3 years, we worked on juvenile civil citations, and we're still monitoring that. But now we've moved on to adult civil citations. The state attorney Ginger Bowden Madden, is the only person who can put a program like the adult civil citation program in place. We weren't able to meet with her for 6 months, and we were finally able to meet with her, and we were pleased to find out that she had done some research and that she was open to the idea of an adult civil citation program. So she agreed to come to our Nehemiah action on April 24th to announce the progress and the dates of that program. But with that said, so we have these great solutions, and why am I here? Why doesn't JUST Pensacola just go out and get them done? Because our power comes from the people in this room and from the other 17 congregations we work with. When State Attorney Madden shows up on April 24th to our Nehemiah action, she might have a positive announcement to make, but if she sees all of you there as well as the 1,200 other people that we are expecting to have that evening, she will see the power of the community coming together, wanting to make this change. And when the mayor shows up on April 24th, or when our city council members show up on April 24th, they'll be able to look out, and when we ask them directly, will you do this? Will you do this proposal? Will you create 1,000 affordable units for our neighbors? And they look out into the crowd and they see 1,200 people there looking back at them that truly care for their neighbors and want to see a change. The likelihood of them saying yes is much higher. So that is why we're here today, is to ask for all of you to join us in that. And I'm going to pass it on to Paula to give a little bit more detail about what to do next.
We have joined together with each other to increase our voice in the public arena for justice, and now we have joined by a congregational vote several years ago with JUST Pensacola to really increase our voice when we demand justice. I want you to think for a minute about justice, think about what it means for you and where that impulse to do justice comes from. In my opinion, that impulse comes from empathy. We look about ourselves and we see someone who is being ground down for one reason or another. I mean, it be a kid being bullied in school, or it may be people being stopped on the street by police for no particular reason. All of these things raise in us the thought that, there but for the grace of God go I. And the empathy that we feel is the impulse, I think, that leads us forward. There are things that we all want and for ourselves, and by extension, for others. I'd like for you to turn to the last page in your packet here. And I don't think we have pens, but I want you to use this blank sheet, and if you have a pen, you can write. But otherwise, just be thinking about some of the things that you want for yourself, things you value in your life. It could be peace, could be a safe place to live, could be enough money for groceries, it could be fair treatment for your children. Think about how you want those things to connect to your justice ministry. And take a minute for that. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes. I know because I have this big red watch on my wrist. And I'd like to start over here with, let's see, we'll start in the back there with Laura. You, yes.
Well, I'd like to live in a little fantasy bubble where all these biases and prejudices that cause people to dislike or hate others just because they're different don't exist anymore. And I know that's a big fantasy bubble.
Yeah. Okay, could everyone hear her? Good, your ears are better than mine. Okay, Laura, would you say again a little louder?
I thought you said we didn't have to talk about it.
Stand up. I promised you didn't have to do this, but go for it.
I would like to live in a little fantasy bubble where the biases and prejudices that cause people to dislike or even hate others just because they're different do not exist. Race, religion, orientation, different political beliefs. Can't we just get along?
Yeah, thank you, Laura. All right, we can't really do everybody, but Trista, do you have something you'd like to share?
Sure. I very strongly believe in that everyone should be able to have a home to call their own or to live in so they can put their head down at night and feel safe. That people have access to food, nutritious food, in their communities. That people have the ability to feel safe and to feel, to have their families and their friends and the love that is possible in that. So the loneliness issue. And the fact that children going to school are able to have access to the full picture of our country and the world we live in without other people's ideologies influencing our public schools.
Okay. All right, Joe? Joe wants to pass, that's okay. At the next table. Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
Well, it says write down some things that you want for yourself. So it's sometimes hard to think about what we really want or need for ourselves. But I think about my 3 children. And one of the things that worries me, not just mine, but everyone's children who are maybe college or college age, is for them to get housing, for them to be able to grow and be independent and to strive. a lot of us aren't able to take care of them for years out, and without being able to help them, how are they going to be able to survive this new generation of the costs, etc.?
Yeah. Mary Beth?
I would like acceptance for everybody. I have a friend who works with a friend who is gay and he doesn't want to come out. He's like he's a surgical tech. He's like 30s, early 30s. Has been gay for quite some time and just doesn't want to come out. And he's starting to have suicidal thoughts, or been having suicidal thoughts, and he would rather, I think, end his life than tell his parents, which is just like the worst. So acceptance, I think.
Yeah. I think we've hit on some of the themes of safety and a place to live and access to food and other things. You want to start in the back? We'll take, please be quick because we are running out of time.
When I was teaching back in the late 70s and early 80s, I used to have my students read an article that was called Uncle Sam's Welfare Program for the Rich. And basically what I want to say is I do think we need to reform our income tax. There are a lot of ways that rich people get benefits, and then we say, well, we can't give these people welfare because that's giving them money. And we really do it to the rich all the time. So.
Okay. Laurie, anybody on the back over there? Okay. Come up here. Barbara? Chris? Either one?
I think we need to seriously pay attention to the mental health situation in our country in general, from the top on down.
Yeah.
I just think, I look at all these homeless people and they need help. You can tell, I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them do. And we just don't seem to have the ability or desire to have institutions that can help people in mental health. And then for normal people too, make it more accessible for normal people. I don't know who's normal anymore, but people that you look at and think they're normal, you know, they need help. Everybody needs some help mentally. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
I saw Victor.
Oh, Victor, you have something?
You changed your mind? Okay.
Okay. Bill, and then over there against the wall, there's some people too.
Lisa has her hand up. Lisa has her hand up. What?
No, there's no requirement that you speak.
Lisa has her hand up.
Well,
going where I was told.
Okay, I just wanted to add a community where the police don't harass people unnecessarily, but they keep the peace when needed. So there's checks and balances with our police force, where guns don't end up in the hands of people who will hurt others unnecessarily, where there's good paying jobs. It seems to me one of the biggest problems is the low pay around here. So these places, like our pharmacy techs and these big companies are making plenty of money, but they don't want to pay their employees a decent wage. So we need better paying jobs where people can live out their life purpose and have access to medical care when needed. And medical should not be bankrupting people just to go see a doctor, where there's insurance for everybody, reliable transportation, healthy food to eat, and safety for animals too. Thank you. That's a big list.
yeah, we all have a big list, and I think that if you can think about it, the issues of civil justice and also affordable housing fit with all of these. If you don't have a place to live that is safe and you don't feel safe, what does it do for your mental health, for example? And so, thank you all for participating and thinking deeply about why we work for justice.
Okay, I have been charged with having you all invite other members from our congregation to be, and people that you know, people that you think might be interested in justice and these two particular issues of affordable housing and criminal justice to get people to this Nehemiah action, which is April 24th, 6 o'clock at the Warrington, I believe, Warrington Baptist Church. And evidently they have a big enough place that we can get 1,200 people there, and that is what we want to do. So on your tables, you will see that I have some pieces with labels of names, and on the 7th page of your packet, there is a place on how to invite people to the Nehemiah action. We definitely want to get everybody from our congregation invited, but we want our friends to come. We want our family to come. We want our children to come to know that they are involved in justice making. So if you would, I've got more stickers here. We'd like everybody to invite at least 8 people, knowing that 8 people won't come. But if we invite 8 people each, then we will get some good numbers at the Nehemiah action. And we will have more information about where, when, and how to meet there. I know there's something else in my mind. So if you would take maybe 4 stickers and pass it on to the next person to take 4 stickers. If everybody took 4 and called 4 people from here, plus the people that they can think of that would be interested, you can call 8 people very easily. Okay, so I have more, and I will walk around if you need more tags. These are friends and members of our church. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Then we appreciate you being here so much and being committed to our principles and to justice and to love and to one another. And our final song is Standing on the Side of Love. We will have the words up here because they're in the blue hymnal. So the choir will come up and sing, and you are invited to join us with the words on the slides. It's a perky little song, so it'll be fun.
Standing on
Okay, so I'm going to wrap us up for the day. Just as a FYI, if you're not on our our newsletter and you want to be, if you get your email to Penny or Honor or Paula, I'm sure they'll get it to me, or you can email me at Kaeli@justpensacola.org. Tomorrow we have our rally. I call it, like, I think of it as a pep rally before the big game, which is the Nehemiah Action, and all the congregations are coming together to check in and to get a feel for where we are, and you're welcome to come. We're going to be distributing tickets so that you can give tickets to the people you've invited. There's going to be a really, really powerful reflection from a few local clergy on the letter from Birmingham Jail. So I highly recommend you come. That's at 6 p.m. tomorrow at First Presbyterian Church downtown. And I'm going to say a prayer that is not from the UU tradition. I actually don't know what tradition it's from originally, but I love it. Yes.
Would you include the address of where we will be meeting for the, just tell everybody.
First Presbyterian? Oh, I don't know it.
Not the First Presbyterian, for the Warrington.
Oh. Yeah, we're going to be meeting at First Baptist Warrington for our Nehemiah Action, and that, I believe, I don't think I have the address. It's in Warrington. I'll make sure that you all have the address before the day of.
18 South Merritt Street.
Okay, 18 South Merritt Street. Thank you. And so I'm going to read this. It's called A Franciscan Blessing. May God bless you with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you may live deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you may work for justice, freedom, and peace. May God bless you with tears to shed for those who suffer pain, rejection, hunger, and war, so that you may reach out your hand to comfort them and turn their pain to joy. May God bless you with enough foolishness to believe that you can make a difference in the world, so that you can do what others claim cannot be done, to bring justice and kindness for all our children and the poor. Amen.